Good morning, one and all. Today we will going to discuss about anatomy and physiology of mouth, pharynx, and esophagus. So first we discuss about mouth. Mouth is also known as oral cavity or buccal cavity in the human body. And here mouth is becomes as an orifice, nothing but opening through which food and air enter the body. The mouth opens to the outside at the lips and empties into the throat at the rear. Always everyone knows the mouth anterior part is here, lips, and the different boundaries which are describing the mouth are lips, cheeks, hard palate, soft palate, glottis, as well as vestibule, oral cavity proper. All these are the words denotes the different boundaries of the mouth. Actually, mouth majorly dividing into two sections, that is vestibule and oral cavity proper. Vestibule is nothing but the area between cheeks and teeth. Whatever the area is present between cheeks and teeth, that will be comes under vestibule. And coming to the oral cavity proper, the area which contained within the contained by the teeth is the oral cavity proper. Nothing but whatever area present inside the teeth, that will be comes under whatever the area which is present by the teeth or contained by the teeth, that is oral cavity proper. And next coming to the other structures that will be present in the mouth, that is tongue. Inside the mouth we are having tongue. Tongue is nothing but it is a large muscle firmly anchored to the floor of the mouth by the frenulum linguae. What is meant by lingual frenulum means a fold of mucous membrane that secures the tongue to the floor of the mouth and limits the posterior movements. Nothing but it will helpful for the attachment of the tongue within the mouth and it limits the movement of the tongue. Nothing but it won't anteriorly the tongue will be moved, but posteriorly it can't move. Why? Because the lingual frenulum is a mucous membrane which will attach the tongue to the floor of the mouth, which controls the posterior movement of the tongue. And next, coming to the different functions of the tongue, the primary function is intake of food and air. Everyone know that, ingestion, and as well as initial digestion of food. Nothing but the salivary glands which secretes the saliva, mainly helpful for the digestion of the carbohydrates. So initial digestion will be takes place in the mouth itself. Whatever the carbohydrates will be there, the carbohydrate digestion is takes place in the mouth itself with the help of salivary amylase. And next, it is also helpful for the speech. It is not an digestive function, but the other function performed by the mouth is speech. And next, coming to the and for the speech, the tongue is the major or thing responsible for the speech. And next, coming to the vestibule in detail, the vestibule is nothing but is lined by the mucous membrane containing numerous small glands that along with the three pairs of the salivary glands. Already you know the three pairs of the salivary glands: parotid gland, sublingual gland, and parotid gland, sublingual gland, and submandibular glands. Okay, here I will show you the diagram. See here, this is the mouth, which is also known as oral cavity or buccal cavity, which contains tongue. Anteriorly consisting of lips, and posteriorly it will be continued, and the throat is present here at the ending part of the mouth. And in between the mouth we are having tongue as well as teeth. Salivary glands are present within the tongue, as well as vestibular part, nothing but the mucous membrane which is present between the cheeks and the teeth. Okay, and next see here, the salivary glands are three types, that is mainly parotid gland, sublingual gland, and submandibular gland. So this is about mouth. Okay, and in detail we discuss about the boundaries of the mouth here. And see, and already you know that the salivary glands mainly helpful for the secretion of saliva, which keeps moist the food and clear if any debris will be there, as well as tongue containing small papillae that should contain taste buds which will perceive the taste of the food. And next, coming to the lips, Already we discussed that lips is nothing but that is the anterior part of the or anterior opening of the mouth, which will protect itself anteriorly. And next, cheeks, it forms the lateral walls, nothing but sides. And palate is two types, hard palate and soft palate. Hard palate forms anterior roof and soft palate forms posterior roof. And next, ulla, it is a fleshy finger like projection. Already everyone know that it will hang in the mouth from the posterior roof, is it right? But it is a fleshy finger like projection of the soft palate which extends inferiorly from the posterior edge of the soft palate. And lingual frenulum, already we discussed that it is a fold of mucous membrane, secures the tongue to the floor of the mouth and limits its posterior movement. Why? Because it is tongue is attached to the mouth with the help of lingual frenulum, which will controls the which will prevents the posterior movement of the tongue. Only the anterior part of the tongue is moved. And next, other parts are oral cavity, vestibule, already we discussed the space between the cheeks and the teeth, as well as oral cavity proper, nothing but the area contained by the teeth, that is oral cavity proper. And next, tongue means a muscular tongue occupies the floor of the mouth, which is having several bony attachments. Here mainly hyoid bone is there. And next, lingual frenulum, whatever we discussed that mucous membrane secures the tongue to the mouth floor of the mouth and limits its posterior movements. And palatine tonsils, nothing but tonsils whatever present at the where the tonsils are present at the posterior end of the oral cavity. At the posterior end of the oral cavity, we are having a pair masses of lymphatic tissue that we are calling as tonsils. Actually, it will responsible for the immune system, but some problematic situation will be there, that is inflammation of the tonsils. During that, the tonsils will be removed in some people, but it will little bit affect the immunity system of the patient who are removing the tonsils, because tonsils are nothing but the lymphatic tissue which will help plays a major role in the immunity. And next, lingual tonsils are nothing but which cover the base of the tongue. So here we completed the mouth anatomy. So mouth is also known as oral cavity or buccal cavity. Here we can remember the main points, that is two sections, vestibule and oral cavity proper. Along with it, we consist of tongue as well as lips, cheeks, palate, vulva, lingulum, frenulum, oral as well as palatine tonsils. And next, coming to the pharynx. Pharynx is the posterior to the mouth, continuation of the mouth posteriorly. And here pharynx is again consisting of two parts, that is oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Oropharynx is the posterior to the oral cavity, so that's why it is oropharynx. And next, laryngopharynx. Here the laryngopharynx is continuous with the esophagus. Laryngopharynx is continuous with the esophagus, and here oropharynx continuation is laryngopharynx. Here the larynx part will be continued with the pharynx, both which are the common passageway for food, fluids and air. Laryngopharynx is a common passage for food, fluids and air. And next, coming to the esophagus which runs from the pharynx through the diaphragm to the stomach. Nothing but it is a long elongated tube which extends from the pharynx to the stomach through the diaphragm. And here size, coming to the size, we are already said that long, that is about 25 centimeters, that is 10 inches long. It is essentially a passageway which conduct food by peristalsis to the stomach. Peristalsis, already we discussed that movement of the food. By the movement of the food, it will be reached from esophagus to through esophagus, from pharynx to through esophagus to stomach it will be reached. And next, coming to the structure, here the wall of the alimentary canal organ from the esophagus are made up of mainly four basic tissue layers, whatever already we discussed in the introduction class, that is mucosa, submucosa and muscularis and serosa. Individually you see here, mucosa is the innermost layer, a moist membrane that lines the cavity. It consists mainly two things, already we discussed that is epithelial lining and lamina propria. So epithelium tissue is the epithelial lining, and lamina propria is nothing but connective tissue. And next, coming to the submucosa. Submucosa is found just beneath the mucosa, and it is a soft connective tissue which containing blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, nerve endings, etc. And next, muscularis externa. Muscularis externa is a muscle layer typically made up of an here esophagus is completely made up of a smooth muscle. Here smooth muscle is arranged in two layers, inner layer and outer layer. Inner layer is consisting of circular smooth muscles. Outer layer is consisting of longitudinal layer of smooth muscles. Okay, inner circular, outer longitudinal. And next, coming to the serosa. Serosa is the outermost layer which consists of a single layer of flat serous fluid producing cells, which is also called as visceral peritoneum. Is also known as visceral peritoneum. Okay, next we discuss about physiology of mouth, pharynx and esophagus. Have actually the first initial digestion will be takes place in the mouth. So we will discuss clearly here in two steps. Two main functions will be takes place in the mouth, that is food ingestion and breakdown, as well as food propulsion, nothing but swallowing and peristalsis. See, first in this food ingestion and breakdown, once food is placed in the mouth, both mechanical and chemical digestion begins. So in that first physical breakdown is nothing but the food is physically broken down into smaller particles by the chewing with the help of teeth. Is it right? Physical breakdown mainly by happening in the mouth by the teeth by the process of chewing. And next, chemical breakdown. Chemical breakdown, already we discussed that when the food is mixed with the saliva, a salivary amylase enzyme which will helpful for the digestion of carbohydrates in the mouth itself, mainly the digestion of starch and breaking it down into maltose, nothing but a simple carbohydrate molecule digestion will be starts in the mouth itself, which will comes under chemical breakdown or chemical digestion. And next, coming to the stimulation of saliva. Already we have a practical experience with that, everyone, because whenever you place the food in the mouth, when automatically large amount of saliva will be poured out. This simple pressure of anything put in the mouth and chewed will also stimulate the release of saliva. Not only food, here anything, any unnecessary things will be put it in the mouth. Some kids will be putting fingers or some pen caps, pencils, like that. In that situation also automatically saliva will be poured into the mouth. Nothing but anything put it in the mouth and chewed, the chewing process and automatically will helpful for stimulating and releasing of saliva. And next, passageways. Passageways is nothing but the pharynx and the esophagus have no digestive function, but is only helpful for the passage of food, nothing but carrying the food from mouth to stomach itself. Okay. And next, food propulsion and swallowing. In this again 5 different steps will be there, 5 different things will be there in the propulsion, nothing but the movement of the food. For food to be sent on its way to the mouth, it must first be swallowed. Is it right? Everyone know that once you keep your food in the mouth, automatically after chewing it will be go for swallowing. That is, swallowing is an actually voluntary movement. Okay. Degglutination is nothing but swallowing. It is a complex process that involves the coordinated activity of several structures. Why it is called as complex process means so many structures are involved here. It is not a single activity, it is a coordinated activity. Why? Because here tongue, soft palate, pharynx and esophagus all are involved in the swallowing. Okay. Next, buccal phase. Buccal phase of deglutition, nothing but the first phase is voluntary. The voluntary buccal phase, nothing but occurs in the mouth. The voluntary buccal phase occurs in the mouth. Once the food has been chewed and well mixed with saliva, the bolus is forced into the pharynx by the tongue. It is actually occurs by our own interest. If you want to swallow it, you can swallow. Otherwise, if you can throw it out, you can be throw it out through your mouth outside. So that's why buccal phase of deglutination or swallowing is an voluntary movement. When the food is placed in the mouth, the chewing process takes place. After during chewing, it will be mixed with the saliva and it forms a soft bolus which is be forced into the pharynx by the tongue. By the movement of the tongue, the bolus will be moved into the pharynx. And next, pharyngeal esophageal phase. Pharyngeal esophageal is nothing but the second phase, that is an involuntary pharyngeal esophageal phase. But it is involuntary, it is not in our control, but in which where it what is the controller of this means it is under control of autonomic nervous system, mainly by the parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system controls this phase and promotes the mobility of the digestive organs from this point. Mobility means movement. And next, food routes. Food routes, nothing but here not it comes under a main function here, but we are discussing here. See, all routes that the food may take except the desired route. Nothing but all are blocked off. If nothing but the tongue blocks of the mouth, and the soft palate closes of the nasal passages, as well as the larynx rises so that its opening is covered by the flap like epiglottis. Nothing but once you are taking the food, inside you are having food, the chewing process will be continued. Automatically the remaining all will be blocked off naturally, and then once the bolus is formed, automatically it will be moved slowly. Next, stomach entrance. Stomach entrance, nothing but whatever the food right now, the bolus will be moved from pharynx to esophagus, from esophagus to esophagus. The bolus will get ready to enter into the esophagus. So once food reaches the distal end of the distal means posterior part of the esophagus, it presses against the cardioesophageal sphincter. The bolus whatever reached the distal part of the esophagus, it will be presses the cardioesophageal sphincter muscle, which causes it open and food enters the stomach. So this will be discussed clearly by seeing the image once again. See, already whatever we discussed here, the mouth, what is the major function of the mouth here? Two functions will be performed. One is ingestion and next one is digestion. In the digestion also mechanical digestion as well as chemical digestion. Mechanical digestion is chewing process. Chemical digestion is mixing of food with the saliva. It will form a bolus which will helpful for digestion of carbohydrates. And next, coming to the pharynx. Pharynx only helpful for a passageway. It is not having any digestion function. And next, once from the pharynx it reaches to the esophagus. See, it is a long elongated tube, esophagus. Once the esophagus is lined with the mucous membrane, through the esophagus the soft bolus will be moved into the stomach. But before the entering of the stomach, here one sphincter muscle is there. By the opening of the sphincter muscle, that is cardiac sphincter muscle only, the food from esophagus will be entered into the stomach. Here stomach is having three parts, that is cardiac part, fundus part, body. Okay, cardiac, fundus and pylorus. Cardiac, fundus and pylorus. Fundus is the middle part, cardiac is the starting part, and pylorus is the ending part, that is the continuation of the small intestine. So here by the entry of the food from the esophagus to stomach is allowed by the cardiac sphincter. Nothing but here one block will be there. Once the cardiac sphincter muscle will open, then only from the esophagus the food will be moved into the stomach, where in the stomach actual digestion will be takes place. In tomorrow's class we will discuss about stomach.